Did you know there are different ways to fulfill orders in NetSuite? Different preferences you can allow, different features you can enable, even different combinations of those features you can use. What you use depends primarily on what your company needs. Let's take a look at fulfilling orders in NetSuite. We'll look at the preferences and features you should consider enabling, and then we'll dive into how key fulfillment features work. First, let's look at the preferences and features you need to set up. You can find the order management accounting preferences by navigating to Setup, Accounting Preferences, Accounting Preferences. Select the Order Management tab and scroll down to the Fulfillment section. This section has both drop-down list options as well as checkbox options. The first drop-down list allows you to decide if you want to filter the packing slip list by whether the orders have a picked or packed status. You can also set item fulfillment restrictions under the Fulfill Based on Commitment drop-down list. This field allows you to limit fulfillment to just items that have been committed, to allow uncommitted items to be included on the item fulfillment, or to ignore the item commitment altogether. This section also contains 6 checkbox fields with fulfillment options. First, you can choose for items to default to 0 received/fulfilled on new fulfillment transactions. If you leave this box unchecked, then new fulfillment transactions will automatically mark all the items as fulfilled, and you will have to manually deselect any items that have not been fulfilled. The second checkbox enables you to allow overage on item fulfillments, meaning you can fulfill the order with a larger quantity than the quantity left on the order. The third checkbox allows you to filter the fulfillment list based on the location marked on the sales order. The final 3 checkboxes allow you to send order fulfillment confirmation emails, to use a website template to craft your fulfillment emails, and to update the date of the transaction when the fulfillment status changes. In addition to these preferences, you would also want to enable key features. Navigate to Enable Features, Setup, Company, Setup Tasks, Enable Features, and choose the Transaction subtab. Then, under the Shipping and Receiving section, check that Advanced Shipping, Pick, Pack, and Ship, and Fulfillment Requests are turned on. 2 other features you may need to enable are Dropship and Special Orders. You can enable both of them together under the Items section of the Items and Inventory subtab in Enable Features. Simply select the checkbox next to Drop Shipments and Special Orders. Now, let's talk about how all these fulfillment features work. The 5 features we'll look at are Fulfillment Requests, Pick, Pack, and Ship, Advanced Shipping, Dropship, and Special Orders. First, Fulfillment Requests. For many companies, creating a fulfillment request form is the first step to fulfilling an order. If you use this feature, you need to determine the types of locations, like store or warehouse, that orders would be fulfilled from. You can do this by navigating to Setup, Order Management, Setup Tasks, Advanced Order Management, and choosing a location type under the Fulfillment Requests tab. So, how do fulfillment requests work? Fulfillment requests act as bridges between the sales order and the order fulfillment. They instruct individuals at either your store or your warehouse to start collecting the item or items on a sales order. Because some sales orders can have multiple items, and because you may not be able to collect and ship all these items at the same time, you can make multiple fulfillment requests for a single sales order. Next, pick, pack, and ship. Essentially, this feature describes the process of locating and collecting the item you're selling, pick, preparing it for shipping, pack, and finally sending it out to the customer, ship. When you're ready to use this feature, you would start by picking the items. To do this, navigate to Transactions, Order Management, Fulfill Orders. On this page, you can choose the customer whose order you are going to fulfill under the Customer field. Then, choose the location you are fulfilling the order from under the field Bulk Fulfill From Location. In the Orders tab, you will now see all the orders associated both with that customer and that location. Select the Fulfill checkbox next to any of those orders you wish to fulfill and click Submit. To change the status of the order from picked to packed or packed to shipped, you would go to the Item Fulfillment page, navigate to Transactions, Order Management, Fulfill Orders, List, and view the order. On this page, you can see all the items on the order under the Items subtab. You can also see the shipping information under the Shipping subtab. The record will automatically show you what status the order is in currently, as well as give you the option to move the order to the next status. The third feature that can aid in the order fulfillment process is Advanced Shipping. Advanced Shipping splits out the fulfillment process so that your shipping and accounting departments can fulfill and bill sales orders separately. As part of Advanced Shipping, you may want to use the preference Invoice in advance of fulfillment. You can enable this by navigating to Setup, Accounting Preferences, and choosing the Order Management subtab. Under the invoicing section, select the checkbox next to Invoice in advance of fulfillment. This feature allows you to send an invoice for an entire order when only part of the order has been fulfilled. The last two features we need to look at are dropship and special orders. Dropship occurs when you ship orders to your customer directly from your vendor. In other words, the item never passes through your warehouse and isn't accounted for anywhere on your inventory. If you have an item that you will be drop shipping for an order, you would need to mark that either on the sales order for the item or directly on the item record. Special orders, on the other hand, describe orders for items that you don't regularly carry. Unlike drop ship items, you would receive a special order from the vendor before passing it on to your customer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let us know by hitting the like button. And to learn more about how SuiteRep can help you with all of your NetSuite needs, visit us at SuiteRep.com.